Welcome to the first episode of Beyond the Frame, a weekly show recapping the biggest movie news, content, and topics of the week. Today, we'll be talking about some new wide releases like Nickel Boys and The Brutalist, the newest Universal horror movie Wolfman, and the new Daredevil Born Again trailer, and much, much more. Let's get into it. All right, so starting it off with what we watched this week. Brilliantly, I wanted to make this a little weekly segment. We can track what we're watching, what we've seen, what we like, what we don't like, other than obviously the newest movies. So I'd say other than Nickel Boys and Wolfman, has there been anything so far? I think in all of January we could say, because there haven't been that many wide releases. Is there anything specifically in January that you've seen that's like, damn, like that's a heater?
Yeah, man, I caught up. It was a huge blind spot for me last year. I wanted to catch it last year, but I couldn't. I just didn't get around to it. I watched Conclave on January 1st, man. That movie, it blew me away, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Cause going into it, like the subject material, I didn't think it would like interest me like that much, cause I just didn't really get it. Like, cause I really didn't see any trailers for it. I just saw like kind of some pictures and stuff like that. Like I'd seen images and like some brief clips, but like I really didn't know what it was about. So going into it, I didn't really expect it's like political thriller kind of movie. So to like get that story, and it was just so like gripping and like just tense. I was like, man, like of course like the ending is crazy. It's just it all just works so well. And yeah, I know I love Conclave a lot, and I see why it got so much kind of praise throughout last year, and why it probably will get a big awards push for the Oscars and stuff this year.
I was just sitting and like thinking about Conclave, I guess as one does, and I was thinking about it's like basically like a religious version of Succession. Like the way
For
that
real,
it's
no,
shot, the way
yeah,
it's
that's
edited,
that's
I've
a great way
never
to
thought
put
about
it.
it that way until I don't know. I was just sitting with it more, and I think it works. It's like really meticulously edited, and then it also obviously is carried by like amazing performances. I know you watched a lot of movies last year. I guess more than you ever have in a single year.
No, for real,
And where would you put Ray Fiennes' performance? Like, are you?
dude.
Because it's for me, and I love Conclave, but like, it's not in my like top 10, I'd say. But
Ooh,
dude,
performances.
like performances though, like Ray Fiennes, I'm putting him up there.
I mean, it was really really strong. I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see like other stuff that really stuck out to me last year. I mean, of
I
course,
mean,
like
like
I
I
think
have my
Mikey Madison's probably
biases.
my favorite from last year,
Yeah, Mikey
performance
Madison.
wise.
I got who else do I think I have someone else on top. 2020, trying to find my
I think
2025
Lily
list.
Rose too, Nosferatu. She's up there for
Oh
me. Not gonna
yeah.
lie,
I don't
Lily
know.
Rose
Me
Depp for sure.
still, my number one is still Timothy Chalamet in Dune Part Two, but no one fucking cares anymore. Like literally, no one
Bro,
cares, bro.
I love Doom Part Two, bro, but like that is
Dude, I love that
crazy, bro.
performance. I love that
Performance.
performance. I love it. I love it. It's dude. It's there's think about it like the whole like 6 months after Dune came out, everyone was just chanting I'm Paul Muad'Dib. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is just aura. Like, it's just
Oh
aura.
no, for
You,
sure, it's definitely aura. Like I'm not gonna lie.
and you don't
I don't
get that
know.
aura without Timothy Chalamet in the role, in my opinion. Like, the way he, like, embodies it, no one is. And I think it's definitely more of, like, a character. You know what I mean? Like, Ray Fiennes feels like he plays, like, a person. Whereas Timothy Chalamet is, like, playing, like, this otherworldly
Yeah,
thing. So I think there's a big difference in that regard, I guess. But I don't know. Timothy Chalamet for me is number
I
one, bro.
think like it's a great performance. Don't get me wrong, but like it's definitely like
Oh,
not
man.
one of the first that comes to mind. Like for me, I think like last year, like it's a few I'm putting over that one. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't think
I
I
mean,
would
no,
make
yeah,
like
I'm
my
not saying.
top five
Okay,
from
that's a little
last year.
crazy. Not top five is. Okay, Coleman Domingo's better in my opinion. In Sing Sing.
I don't know if I were to give like a quick, like maybe just not fully accurate, but like a quick, like just top five, like out of order. I would go Mikey Madison, Honora,
Hmm.
Lily Rose Depp, Nosferatu.
Hmm.
Okay, this is a little okay. Zendaya challengers, bro,
Oh
and
come
then
on! Oh come
no,
on!
here we go, here we go. And then what's his name? Then Harris Dickinson and Baby Girl
What? Oh, that's
and
crazy.
Coleman Domingo. That's my top five.
Damn.
And then
Harris
maybe,
Dickinson didn't even play a character though.
bro, that was a great performance, bro. In my opinion, I love like
I mean,
that.
it's a great
He
performance.
was
He was just like horny as fuck the whole time, bro.
nah.
He was just plotting on Nicole Kidman. Like, that's wicked. I don't know. That over Timothy Chalamet and Doom Part Two is insane. I'm not gonna. Maybe I need to rewatch Baby Girl, but I know
I
I
mean,
know Baby Girl spoke to you, so I I get it. I
I
get
mean, I
it.
think I am a little bit bigger on the movie in general than like most people, I guess.
Hmm.
But I mean, I thought it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah. I think for me, so far this month, I watched Seven twice, both times in theaters. Both like it was my
Yeah,
first time
seven.
ever seeing it in general, let alone it being in theaters. And I don't know, I it is one of the greatest films of all time. This, you know what, when a movie's so good that you have to like go back to your favorites of all time list and like move stuff
Yeah, like
around.
reevaluate. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what this made me do. And then I rewatched a couple things: Goodwill Hunting, Beautiful Boy, Furiosa, a couple of Bollywood films. It's just like I've been watching the most random things. I think we're recording this on January 20th. This comes out sometime that week. Dude, I haven't seen a movie in 6 days. It's been almost a week. I haven't seen a movie
That's
since
like
the
abnormal for you,
14th.
bro.
It's
That's
insane.
insane.
The last thing I watched was the Wolfman press screening, which was last Tuesday. I want to watch the new Kiki Palmer SZA film, One of Them Days. I want to
Yeah.
watch that this week. And then obviously this upcoming week we have Flight Risk and Companion. Or no, Flight Risk and Presence. Companions next
Presence,
week.
yeah.
It's weird how excited I am for January movies because I think they're just conceptually all really cool. Companion I know jack shit about, but Flight Risk, Mark Wahlberg is kind of back. I feel it. I feel like the
Bro.
movie's gonna be shit. The movie's gonna be ass. But like I've seen the trailer so many times, it's just been ingrained in my mind now.
No,
So
that's
I'm a
true.
little interested. And then Presence, a horror film from the point of view of the entity, like that seems like
Yeah,
so
that's gonna be
interesting to me.
crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting conceptual things coming out. But actually, the movie we wanted to talk about first on the pod today, the first big release of January, we have Wolfman. So, warning, we are going to be talking full spoilers. We're not going to spend too much time on this because we obviously also want to talk about Nickel Boys and The Brutalist. But Wolfman is just it's simple. It's the newest Universal horror take. It's Blumhouse's newest film starring Christopher Abbott. Um, we're gonna talk about some of the upcoming Blumhouse movies after we talk about Wolfman.
Because going into it, I was like skeptical but kind of interested. Like the trailer, it kind of grew me over time. Like as I would watch it in theaters, like I feel like I've seen the trailer for like months at this point. Like,
Again,
leading up to
it's
the
just
movie.
been ingrained in my head
Yeah,
to where
exactly.
I'm like
That's why
I
I'm
have like
okay,
what
like
the fuck, yeah.
maybe this is kind of interesting. Like I don't know, but okay, maybe they'll do something like unique here. And I think the first like 45 minutes, like maybe an hour of the movie is actually pretty interesting. I think that they go in an interesting direction with it. Kind of, I think the best part of this movie by far, in my opinion, is how they do kind of the gradual transformation. I don't know if that's in the trailer, right? Like we know he gets bitten and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the transformation of him becoming like Wolfman. I think that is very, very well done. It's very much so kind of almost like a slow burn, and just seeing him kind of transform and evolve. Well, I do think that, like the final look. I know as you mentioned like in one of your videos, like you didn't like the final look of it. I do kind of agree with that. I think like I don't know what they were doing with that final look. I think it could have looked a lot better and just a lot more like I guess
Like Wolfman.
wolf like. Yeah, I felt like he was still more man than like wolf. He's kind of had
Yeah.
sharper teeth and like lost his hairline a little bit. But
Yeah, that's it.
like I don't really understand. So I really wish they kind of went a bit more all out like in that department, especially because like you can see like the final. Wow, can I say that? Well, the wolf.
Yeah. Okay.
like, the
Well,
other
we're
wolf in
talking
the movie-
spoilers. We're talking spoilers, guys.
yeah.
Skip to the timestamp in the description if you haven't already seen the movie, but you can continue.
So the other wolf, like, I feel like he looked a lot better.
Looked more
than-
like Wolfman. Yeah, 100%.
I'm like, so I don't really understand like why they kind of didn't like go all out with the actual like the main kind of wolf that we end up getting for like, the second half of the movie. But I thought that the transformation was good. I just think this movie like it felt like there was something more that they could have did or were trying to do, but it just got stunted in some way. Because I feel like they have stuff like with his marriage and his family and like that tying into like his transformation. I just feel like it was something like higher there, like conceptually that they were going for that they just couldn't exactly like hit on like the mark. So I mean, I don't think this was a terrible watch. It's not like of course I didn't love it. I think it's okay. I wouldn't recommend it necessarily, but like for a Blumhouse horror movie, I feel it could have been like 10 times worse.
Yeah, that's the thing is like when you compare it to other Blumhouse things, you're like, damn, this wasn't that bad. But then when you compare it to like normal movies, you're like, yeah, it's not great at all. I don't know. I think up until the part where it's the two wolves fighting, where he like kills his dad and stuff like that. Well, I think finding him. By the way, I was talking to a couple of my friends about this Burnley, and everyone saw it coming. Like we just suck at watching movies. I think like it was not a twist to anyone that it was his dad.
So I'm just an idiot because I
yeah,
thought what happened. I was like, oh, like,
I was like,
am
holy
an
shit,
idiot, or
there's
was
no
it
way.
actually, like, Because I guess
uh,
it made sense because the cast is so limited. They
there's
don't
no
really
one
give
else.
you.
There could
Yeah,
have
it's
possibly
like
been no one else.
so.
I
Yeah.
thought it was okay. Well, I thought it was just a random hiker dude. Like I from the very beginning when they mentioned like, oh, the hiker went missing. Like I thought it was just
Oh,
the
like that
dude.
guy was just Wolfman the whole
Yeah,
time. Yeah, that's actually valid. That's why, especially like as a horror movie, the horror aspects is some cool stuff that's like teased. Like I know you really like the night scene in like
the
the
night
barn and stuff
vision.
like that.
Yeah,
I think that was cool. I just kind of wish we got a little more of that. Like I just feel like once he became Wolfman, like the movie kind of just like didn't know what to do with itself. Like
pretty stagnant.
yeah, it was just like I don't know. So I just feel like the movie like it just felt a little disjointed in some areas, but overall I liked what they're going for. It was definitely like interesting. It was definitely a lot better than like the last Blumhouse movie I watched. Afraid AI, Afraid like
Dude, we
just
gotta stop making that the bar for our movies, bro. It's so
bro.
bad. Like
I mean
it's
that's the last one
so.
I've seen from Blumhouse,
No,
and
that's
that
the
was
last one I've
just
seen too. And I honestly like, that's all I've been comparing it to. And I'm kind of like, I gotta like, Afraid is such a bad bar, bro. It's so bad. But no, I will say technically, like points of this movie feel like Lee Winnell. They feel like Upgrade. They feel like Invisible Man a little bit. Like you feel the flair as the director. But then that's like 2% of like the overall film. You know what I mean? Like there's moments where like
exactly
there's one moment where he's like after the tarantula scene where he finds like the boom 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 in the closet
yeah.
and he like falls over and like the camera tracks on him and I'm like holy shit we're so back. You know like this feels like Lee Winnell. But they do it once for 3 seconds and then call it quits. So it felt like there was like a little bit of it to me and I don't want this to be the crutch or the blame, but it kind of felt like studio interference to an
Yeah, no,
extent.
for sure. I feel like something
Um,
was just stunted. Like he couldn't
but
cook like, fully.
but at the
In my
same time, like Invisible Man was pretty successful. Upgrade is a fan favorite. So like I don't know why they wouldn't give him control. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah,
like
that's
he has
true.
like it's not like he has like things to meet, like quotas to meet. Like MCU movies like they have to like lock in and align with each other to an extent. Whereas like this is like not this doesn't have like a priority like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just frustrating to me the
I
more and
mean,
more I
I
think
do
about this
wonder,
movie.
like, was it some sort of constraint? I know this movie also. I was looking like the Invisible Man. Like, I haven't seen the Invisible Man, but I know people like it a lot. The runtime for that goes over 2 hours a little bit, like 2 hours 5 minutes. This is
Oh, what is this like hour 30?
like hour, yeah, like 40 hour 30. Like I don't know if he had to like meet some time constraints or it was just like something he had to
Also,
like.
this story is so streamlined, though. We can give our final scores and stuff like that, and then we'll go ahead and talk about upcoming Blumhouse films because there's a lot of interesting concepts here. But yeah, before we get into that, Brantley, final score for Wolfman. What are you thinking, bro?
I'm feeling. I guess on a scale out of 5, I'm feeling. I gave it about 3 stars on Letterboxd, which I think I'm gonna keep it there. Like I think maybe I was a little too generous for how much I enjoyed it. Maybe it's like 2.5, but I think a 3. Like for I think it. I don't know. I like some of the things they went for. I found parts of it to be like enjoyable, so I can't necessarily say it was like a bad movie fully because there was parts of it that I did like. And yeah, so I mean I wouldn't recommend it, but I think it was just kind of just a little mediocre. But yeah, I don't think it was terrible by any means.
I think every single day. It's been almost a week since I've seen this movie. Every single
Yeah.
day, my opinion on this movie has gotten worse and worse and worse. I think originally I had it like a 6.5 out of 10. Right now I'm settling at a 2.5 out of 5 stars, so 5 out of 10. Um, it's just like the more I think about it, I'm like, you know what? Like at the end of the year, I'm gonna be like, damn, this deserves a 2.5. So I'm just giving it the 2.5 right now. I just don't want to have to change it later.
That's
I don't think
valid.
this movie's gonna age well at all. It's like the first movie on my 2025 movies watch list, and it's gonna just keep going down and down on the list as the year goes on. So I honestly, and we're gonna talk about January and February movies at the end of this episode, but I genuinely think this is gonna be the worst movie of not of the year, but like of the next
Yeah,
like
this
2 3
month.
months. This
Oh
month for sure,
dang,
I
you
think.
really think it's gonna be the worst?
Unless presence is an absolute dud. You know what I mean? Like unless it doesn't work for me at all, so which it could like long legs didn't really work for me personally, but and it's getting compared to
Oh
like the
man,
creativeness of long legs, you know. So like
bro.
I just got to throw out long legs strays whenever I get the chance, but
Like that's a good sign for me. Is someone that did like long legs a lot.
I don't know. I am interested to see what all those movies have to offer, but we'll be talking about that in just a second here. Let's get into some of the upcoming Blumhouse films. So, Blumhouse has 5 more movies coming out this year, which means in total they have 6 movies in 2025.
Dude, they're moving
The
like
Woman
old
in the
MCU
Yard.
man.
I know they're putting out crazy numbers. I'm not gonna lie, and it's crazy because none of the movies like connect or anything. There's just no need for them to be dropping all this. Woman in the Yard comes out on March 28th. Drop comes out on April 11th. Megan 2.0 comes out on June 27th. The Black Phone 2 comes out on October 17th, and Five Nights at Freddy's 2 comes out on December 5th. So, starting with The Woman in the Yard, we got our first trailer for this just a couple weeks ago. Brantley is weirdly hyped for this movie. I have no idea what he's cooking, but
I don't know, man. I just something about this one. I'm gonna call it. I think this will be the best drop for the year, like from Blumhouse. That was crazy,
trailer,
right?
bro.
Yeah. But bro, the trailer, I don't know. I thought it was well put together. I mean, obviously, there's plenty of instances where it's a good trailer, and the movie's not that good. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued, and I know this is the same director. I've never seen the movie Orphan. But I know it has like kind of like
I've heard good
like
things
kind of
about
a
it.
cult following
Cult
behind
following,
it.
yeah.
People like that. And I think it's like his first kind of dip back into horror since then. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I see here he did The Shallows, that shark movie. From
Oh,
way back
that's
when.
not. I mean, it's ass, but like it's a fun watch. It's not like still
Yeah,
interesting.
so like I don't know, man. Like I think that this could be. Well, he did do Black Adam, but I
All
don't-
I'm hearing
you
is
know.
insane copium, but
But bro, he did Carry On too, dude. This guy also
Okay.
like his work rate kind of crazy, but he
I
did
know, no,
Carry
he's
On.
kind of dialed in. He's kind of dialed in. He's
locked
kind
in.
of dialed
He
in.
did Carry On, and now he has this coming out. It's like, and I know I haven't finished Carry On, but I know you like Carry On.
Yeah, I enjoyed
don't know.
Carry On a
I feel
lot.
like this could really go either way. Like it's kind of just a gamble movie. Like I don't know what we're about to get with this.
The trailer to me just looks like a classic. Like we're not gonna see the woman in the yard like unveiled until the last like 5 minutes of the movie, and it's gonna be some bullshit. Like I don't know, woman sitting in a chair for 90% of the movie doesn't really intrigue me, but it honestly, out of all the films, it has a pretty good concept. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's not, at least as long as it's not like Afraid where it's AI Alexa, I'm kind of dialed in. And then we have Drop, which comes out on April 11th. This is like try to find the killer type of movie taking place in a restaurant, I believe, and they're using airdrop clues that are airdropped from iPhone to iPhone to find the killer. This is some bullshit. Like
AI
this is
generated idea, bro.
yeah, this
AI
is like
generated concept.
this is like ask ChatGPT, give me like 5 movies that will work for my Gen Z
Yeah,
kids. You know what I mean?
literally.
Like, and then we have Megan 2.0, June 27th. I have no idea what the story. They have kept a lot of stuff under wraps about this film, but I don't know. I'm not really interested in it. Like, I have no. The first Megan movie to me is like cool. Like,
Yeah.
it just. I wish there was more. Honestly, I wish there was more like James Wan like isms about it. You know what I mean? Like I wish it was like crazy. Wish it was kind of like Malignant, where like they're just doing
Yeah.
dumb shit, but like they take themselves a little too seriously, in my opinion.
No, definitely, bro. I think like the first Megan was really, really. I thought it was fun. I think it's like definitely one of those movies you just kind of can like take with a group of people and you always like have a laugh.
Yeah,
at it. And I think,
100%,
Like, there definitely is
100%.
like a place for like movies like that. You can just go with people and just it's stupid. You have fun. It's just a kind of a dumb movie, and I hope this one's kind of just the same kind of vibes. Like I wouldn't mind that. But honestly, I mean, I had a feeling, knowing like how much after seeing how much money the first one made, like
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it was kind of obvious the sequel was definitely coming at some point. But I just kind of hope that they like really kind of go, kind of what you're saying, kinda in a crazier direction with the idea. Like people are gonna go see it, it's gonna make money. Just go kind of balls to the wall with it. Just do like just some crazy stuff
100%.
that's just like insane and just entertaining, and just I would really love that. I hope it doesn't try to like kind of stay too similar to the first film. I hope it really just kind of just ups the ante like in every aspect. So yeah.
A part of me kind of wishes that they're doing that Soulmate movie, the
Yeah.
AI,
And
the
that looks
AI
interesting,
sex
yeah.
robot, right? So that's a more interesting concept to me. And then some other concept where like it's like an AI person replacing something else. You know what I mean? Like Megan is like a children's doll.
I see what you're
Soulmate is
saying.
like a
So,
sex toy, sex doll type of thing.
it's like a different kind of like job or something, like a different role in society. Get placed
Yeah,
by
like
AI.
something that just is like using AI in a different way. Like obviously Afraid kind of went for that, but like you can just tell the production on Afraid was just worse than Megan. You know what I mean? Like it just like Megan looks like an actual movie. Afraid looks like a commercial. So like there's just, you know what I mean? There's just inherent differences. But I think Megan 2.0 and maybe Soulmate as well. I don't know. I think Soulmate will definitely lean more Afraid for sure. Like there's no way like 'cause
Really?
Megan got enough attention from like everyone. You know what I mean? Like Soulmate has probably been done for a while. Like it was supposed to come out this year, I think. But I'm assuming
Damn.
they didn't want to release Megan and Soulmate in the same year.
I would
So
have said fuck it, bro.
I don't know. They're just making Megan
Especially
2
because
to
I'm
fund all
assuming
the other movies though.
Megan 2 probably PG-13 like the first one. I'm
I
assuming,
think
but
so, but
I mean they're
like
trying to make that bread, bro. I feel like they're gonna try to.
I don't know. I'm interested in it, but I'm not like holding my breath. The one I am most excited for, though, this is what I'm putting all my chips on: the Black Phone 2, coming out October 17th. Scott Derrickson, the director, is returning. Who I think he's a pretty good director. He is not all hits, but like he has pretty good movies in his filmography. Ethan Hawke is going to be back. It's being described
Yeah.
as like more of a coming of age tale, which is really interesting to me based on the concept of the first film. You haven't seen the first one, right, Bradley? I definitely
I've only seen
recommend it.
like parts of it. I've seen like I remember I was like at dinner with my family. We kind
Yeah,
of put it on, but I didn't finish it. But it seemed interesting though, and I know a lot of people like it.
I 100% recommend it. It's so like simple, but it works. It's just weird, like it's just cool horror, and it's not even that scary. It's Scott Derrickson is really great at building tension, and I don't know. I'm very very excited for this. I think Ethan Hawke returning is just the best sign. You know what I mean? If it was like
I mean,
without Ethan Hawke, I'd be fucked. Like it's a little weird, but
Ethan Hawke's the
Ethan
goat,
Hawke is
man.
back. Scott Derrickson is back. Um, I don't know. I feel like there's not much else to say about that. But then we have FNAF 2, December 5th. This is their last movie of the year.
I went to the first one kind of skeptical. I was like, well, I didn't see it, but I'm like, people really like, is this really like good? And I still want to go like check it out. Cause I mean, it got received a lot better than I thought it would. I was like, oh shit, like, it's actually like, people actually like love this movie. I'm like, damn. So I am excited for this one.
I wouldn't
Off
say
of
the
that.
first one's like amazing. I mean, I don't even know what I rate. I'd probably give it like a 3 or 3.5. But like it's like a fun movie, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not so my biggest problem with most like yeah, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Um I think the problem with most Blumhouse movies is that they are just boring. Like Wolfman suffers from this so much.
Oh, for
It's like
sure.
every single one of these movies is so narratively weak that you're just sitting there like I want to go home for at least a chunk of the runtime. And Five Nights at Freddy's, maybe it's because of Josh Hutcherson, like he's able to act his ass off and really give us something, or like the general idea of Five Nights at Freddy's. Like Five Nights at Freddy's is comparable to Wolfman in that it's like you don't see animatronics for most of the runtime. They do keep a lot of stuff hidden, but like it works in this case, you know, like because we're
Yeah, it kind of. I mean, it also goes on with, like the theme, of, like the game and stuff too. I feel like it
yeah,
kind of
like
it
they're
makes
supposed to
sense.
be scary, and like we're involved enough in Josh Hutcherson's character to not really like I at least cared more about him than like seeing fucking Freddy Fazbear. But like
Yeah.
in Wolfman, it is the title character of Wolfman, and then he's not. First of all, he's just a man that looks kind of like a wolf, and then also there's no like emotional connection to the character, at least in my opinion. So, um,
I feel that.
yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on Blumhouse movies? You said your pick is The Woman in the Yard,
It
right?
is.
Mine is mine
I'm
is
sticking
Black
by
Phone.
it, man. I think at
Okay.
the end of the year we're gonna have to just do like a Blumhouse like year recap
Retrospective. Oh,
podcast. Yeah,
brother.
for
That means we
real.
have to
Like
watch
just,
all these movies. But I mean, I was gonna watch them
bro,
anyway. But
I'm down. Like I think as a Blumhouse, like I don't know these. I'm not gonna lie. This one was. I think the rest of these will be kind of just like if they're bad, they'll be like stupid bad. Like they'll be funny bad.
all right, moving on. We're gonna review some movies that just got a wide release slash are technically still getting a wide release. I don't know if The Brutalist is out wide. I think it started this past week. It was in that theater far from you, but it was still here this
Yeah, it was
past
like an
week,
hour
right?
away, bro.
Okay. Yeah, so it is starting to get much more wide. Um, I had the chance to watch it again. Did not go to my screening because that shit is 4 hours long and I was way too tired. So I've only
Yeah.
seen it one time. Brantley hasn't seen it yet, but stay tuned for that. I'll be giving my thoughts on The Brutalist, but first we're going to talk about Nickel Boys. This is the Prime Video film or not Prime Video film, but film that got deterred to Prime Video, I should say. It has a pretty limited theatrical window.
Oh, is it currently
Very
on Prime
limited.
Video?
No, no, not yet. But like it
Oh,
is. I think it was a Prime MGM logo beforehand. It's gonna be
yeah.
on Prime Video. It's to me like the only. I'm so happy that this movie got so much awards buzz strictly for the fact that like it makes people be like, I want to see it. Like where's looking up where's Nickel Boys streaming 2025. You know,
No,
because
for
I
real.
saw it back in November and they had actually undated our reviews. They said there's no like they pushed first of all pushed our press screening because they were like the movie got indefinitely delayed basically. So we're
Dang.
gonna have to push the press screening. And then like 2 weeks later it got a release date. They gave us our press screening. We
Yeah.
watched it and even afterwards they sent us an email and they were like, hey guys, like please hold all reviews. I was like, fuck that. Because I need to talk about this movie. You know what I mean? I'm like, people need to hear about this. It's one of the movies where even word of mouth isn't enough because nothing prepares you for like I mean even just the first person thing alone. You know what I mean? Like you see it in the trailers and you're
Exactly.
like, "Oh, cool." But then as the movie goes on, you're like, "Holy shit, this actually works insanely well." And
No,
the
for
trailer
real.
only makes it look like a gimmick. That's all that the trailer does. The trailer does not help this movie in the slightest
I mean, I
because
think it does to some degree because I feel like
I
people would like. I get why it's kind of used that way for a trailer because you're trying to market it. People are like, oh, like a movie in first
oh,
person,
100%,
like
100%.
maybe
Yeah.
I actually go check this out. So I can see why like, the trailer probably like, leaned more into like that like idea. I guess you're just trying to get people to go out and see it. But yeah,
I think I think it's a double-edged sword though just because I think nowadays like we're talking as people who watch like at least like 30 to 40 new releases a year minimum. Like we are going to go watch it because of the like hype around it. Like that's the reason I was excited for it because it had premiered at New York Film Festival and I was like,
yeah,
holy shit, like this is going to be huge. Like I'm excited for this. But like most people are like they see first person point of view and they're like this is such a gimmick, this is such a trick. But
yeah, that's
I don't know.
true,
Before we get into the visual stuff because there is a lot to chew on there.
bro.
I
So
wanted to
much.
ask you about just the general direction and I guess what you thought of like the directorial flair because I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. This is I've never seen anything like this in my entire
No,
life. I'm not gonna lie to you.
bro. Literally, like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, okay, so when I first started, like, when the first like start it came on and everything like that, like, I was watching it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it did feel a bit like disorienting at first, like the
Yeah,
perspective thing. Like, it took. I felt like just almost like I was like in like a trance. It just felt weird at first. I'd like
I was like,
adjust
it
to
felt like I
it.
was like floating because
Yeah,
like I couldn't mark my surroundings because I was this dude, you know?
exactly. It'd be like once like after about 5-10 minutes, like once like you like get used to it, like it's just so like immersive. And obviously, if the first person perspective like is gonna make you feel immersed, but like this movie, I think it just does it like so well, dude. And like just everything here, like, and also, I mean, I think the big thing that we like going into this movie, I knew like the general like premise. I was like, oh, like they meet, like they're like it's in Florida, but the fact that this was like
Mhm.
basically like in like where
In
like I'm from in
yes,
Thailand,
yeah,
I'm like this is crazy. Like
yeah,
and that made it feel even like crazier to me watching. I'm like, bro, it's like Leon County, Tallahassee, it's like near like where I'm from, like where you grew up and stuff. It's like right near that area, so it's just like the movie felt. I made it feel almost like more like surreal and like it was
yes.
literally only like it was me and one other guy at the theater. If like it was like made like for me or something, bro. When I was watching it, like what
Yeah.
is happening here, bro? Like it didn't feel like a real experience, like watching the movie. And like I don't know, the movie is just like dude, it's just such like a captivating, I think, experience. Like, it's just something like you just watching, like I was just locked in. And I think one question I have seen people do say like it goes on a little too long, which I do agree. I think
I was
towards the
about to
end,
ask you about
I
that.
did kind of
Yeah.
feel the length for sure. I'm like, this is a bit, it's going a bit long. But aside from that, I think everything else here is damn near flawless, dude.
So I honestly think the length of the runtime it just feels longer because of the like depths of hell that the story goes to. You know what I mean? Like
For
I feel like if
sure.
it was like a lighthearted story, whatever, like if the ending wasn't, and we can't obviously talk about exactly what happens at the end, but if it wasn't so dark, I think people would be like, "Oh, cool, like cool movie." But like you end and you're like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" And then you leave and you're like, "Holy shit, that the last like 20 minutes felt like 40." You know? So like
Yeah.
it I think I also think the fact that at times it does feel like not a I guess more I guess of a documentary, you know, like they have real life artifacts they because it's
Yeah.
based on real kids, you know what I mean? So like I think the element of like pure realism to it, like them saying it takes place in Leon County, is different than actually showing us artifacts of the time. And the second that
Exactly.
they started implementing real world elements into it, is kind of like where for me it became, oh wow, this doesn't feel like a movie anymore. This just
Exactly.
feels like real life, and it obviously made me uncomfortable, but that's the point, you know. And I feel like a lot of movies don't take swings like that anymore, and I'm glad it is in this like I hate to say this, but like artsy package. You know what I mean? Like I'm glad that he was able to fully go all out
Yeah,
on every visual technique that he wanted to. But at the same time, I feel like that sadly, and I think for the it, I think the pro outweighs the con. You know, like the
yeah,
pro is that it fully immerses you in the story. It literally is, in my opinion, the only way to tell this story with full immersion. But the con of it is like it kind of might be a little too much. You know, like
yeah.
it is a really intense movie, and like most people, bro, people can't sit down to watch like anything serious at all nowadays. Like
No, for sure.
this is too serious for most people.
No, definitely. And like what you mentioned, like, and I just kind of came to me with like the real life aspects of it because I know this like this is like his the director like his first like narrative like debut. I think he
Yeah,
only did like
yeah, long
documentaries
form,
before
yeah.
this. So it's like I think the way he had like we had like the narrative story where then like those little sections where it is like hitting like the real like pictures and like artifacts like that. I think that like worked like so well because I feel like for a lot of like biopics, especially like about stuff about like traumatic events and whatnot, it's like oh this is like the story, and then like at the end it's like oh like you know reminder like this stuff like actually happened, so like you know you should like look into it or
Yeah,
like just be aware. But this one's like you're in the midst of it, and it's like boom, like this was real. Like you should like know like this happened,
yeah,
and now
like
back to
boom,
the
boom, boom.
story.
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah,
like so it's like hitting you with it like as you're experiencing it, and I thought that was like really interesting. I thought that worked to the movie's bit like benefit a lot because it's like it just made everything like I don't know, it just made the story and everything work like in a way where it's like it just hits you in that moment like damn like okay yeah like let me not forget this is like not fiction, this is like a real thing. And I feel
yeah,
like other movies like I think sometimes it can be kind of easy like to forget that and just think oh this is only just like a narrative from this time period where this one's like we're gonna show you that like these events took place and like these were real things like as you're currently experiencing these things with the characters. So I thought that was
yeah.
great.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I wanted to mention about this film was it's kind of hard to judge the two lead performances because they're kind of behind the camera. You know what I mean? Like it's a little
Yeah.
odd. But Anjanou Ellis Taylor is was like my front runner for best supporting actress. That's the guy. I think
Dude,
she plays his mom or
like
her
the
grandma.
grandma character. Yeah,
Grandma,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she was great,
Genuinely,
dude.
what insane. Like I saw the film because I had already done my Oscar predictions. Like I had already made the general list of like when I see these movies, this will probably be there, but I'll move it around after.
Yeah,
I literally had her at number 2, like the whole time since Nickel
bro.
Boys hype train started, and she's still there. I also going in didn't think they'd change the person whose perspective it is.
Yeah, see, I didn't know
I
about the
thought
switch either. I was like, what?
yes,
I
I
was
thought
like,
we were gonna stay
oh
in the one
shoot.
perspective the whole time, and then I guess final thing I want to say, we have to tiptoe around this. I don't know how much we can say without giving spoilers away. But when we get to the more so present day story,
Dude.
and the camera's like mounted on their back because it just like
Yeah.
as I don't know the way I viewed it thematically was like as they get older and older, they feel less and less separated from their like physically they feel less and less separated, and I guess the audience should feel less and less separated from this situation, but the whole story is still about the
Yeah.
situation. So like it's still so deeply rooted and ingrained in us, and like the camera to me was kind of trying to escape, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
but
No, I didn't
it's
thought
still
about that.
tied to him. I don't know, that's just the way I thought about it. I haven't seen the movie in like
Nah,
4 or 5 months, but like that shit genuinely the bar sequence, oh man,
bro.
bro, that shit
Dude,
was fucking raw.
that was so crazy, bro. Like the
Amazing,
bar
bro.
scene was insane, and yeah, like that scene you mentioned earlier, with like when the grandma she comes to visit him and she's talking to Turner, she gives him like the package
Mm-hmm.
like that. Dude, that was the only like that moment was the first time the movie actually I almost like got me, bro. She gives like the
Yeah.
hug and stuff like that. I was like, bro, like this is just like that's when I know this movie is just hitting on something just like just a different level. But yeah, no, you the present day stuff, like all that stuff was just like fantastic. Like because even when you first go back to the present day without saying too much, like it took me like, a little off guard. I'm like, where's
Yeah,
this
I didn't
kind
really
of, like,
know
where's this
what's
going?
going
And then
on,
like
yeah.
for a minute, you're still kind of confused when it cuts back, but then once it starts to come together, and then like when the everything kind of comes together in the end, it's like what like it was insane. I was like, whoa, like this is
I kind of like that they didn't explain anything like throughout the movie. Like it just like kept cutting, and I'm like, this
yeah.
works. You know, like I'm a little fucking confused, but at the end, but okay, so okay, again, no spoilers, but the twist at the end, or the twist at the end, was it a twist to you, or like, because it would,
I think it kind of is. That's how I mean, I took it kind of caught me a little off, even though I was a little confused because like before, like I was like. I was like, I don't think like that's the same like person. It just didn't give me the
yeah,
same vibe.
yeah,
Like it
yeah,
didn't make sense in my head, but I was like, maybe I'm just like tweaking. and then when it hits, when the thing, it's like, oh, damn,
Yeah, yeah,
like that's crazy.
yeah, yeah. So, I was watching it. Dude. It was like pretty much. It's like maybe like 10 to 12 press members in like a 80-person theater. Obviously, like we were all just like scattered around this
Yeah.
theater, and it was like the ending was like the most awkward situation I think I've ever been in. I was just sitting there like normally I like pull out the phone, like take some notes, you know what I mean? Like letterbox review it up, something light, you know? But like this, I was just sitting there, bro. And like you could just like slowly, like one person got up, another person got up.
Dude.
Like it was so like depressing in there. And then we got outside and we were all talking about it. But like that moment in that theater, like with all of like the aura from
Yeah.
the movie, like feeling it. Oh my god! And the ending is fucking rocks. Like that shit is insane. Like the way that they bring
No,
everything
for real.
together, man. I mean, saying it rocks is crazy, but like it works
No,
really
like yeah,
well.
no, it does.
Yeah,
No, and I feel like I had a similar experience. Like usually, I'm quick. Like if I'm seeing statistics by myself, I'm quick to just get up and like leave.
yeah.
Like,
I'm
the
getting
moment
out,
like
going
the
home.
credits hit,
Yeah,
I get up and go. That one I actually did have to sit down. I stayed seated for like just a little minute after, just like
yeah.
like what did I just like experience? Because like no, like I feel like that bar scene, like the scene goes on for a very long time, but like I don't, it was just like I was so like enthralled by it. It was just, I was just so immersed in that moment with the scene. I'm like that scene itself just like feel like it took so much like out of me, bro. I'm like, and that's
Mhm.
towards the end of the movie. It's like that was just so like I don't know, man. Like I really see why this has got the hype that it does, and like I don't know in terms of just like biographical like filmed. I mean, I know this is based on a book too, so like that. It's just like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's operating just at a different just level than like a lot of the stuff I've seen kind of in a similar genre.
For a lot of people, the main thing is the perspective shift, and then that inherently kind of makes them feel distant from the movie. Like that's what I'm saying is it either fully immerses us like me and you,
Yeah.
or it completely takes you out and you can never get back in. And it took me a while. I honestly, so I mean, like I wasn't like against the first person thing, but for the moment that it truly sunk in, and I was like, okay, now we're kind of cooking. Was the bathhouse sequence with Hamish Linklater, like the white dude, where
Yeah.
they like take him into the bathhouse, but then they don't
Dude.
show anything.
That's what
That
I mentioned.
shit,
I loved like they didn't show anything. And, like,
yeah, like that shit, dude. Silent theater, by the way, like it was so awkward because it just feels so fucking real. I'm like,
yeah, like, I was
there's
actually
no.
scared. I was like, bro, are we gonna? I was like, are we gonna go in there? Bro? I was like,
I'm like, dude, I was just hoping that the camera stopped because I did not
bro.
need. I was like, if we see this shit, it might ruin my night. You know what I mean? Like it might actually be over for me.
No,
No, it's
that is
crazy.
facts.
And that's the thing is, it's choices like that where it's like, honest to God, it felt more impactful to not see it
For
because
sure,
you're
no,
like,
definitely.
what the fuck is actually happening? And so I don't know. I think it's still like an 8 out of 10 for me, 8.5 out of 10. I think the runtime just holds it back a lot. Like there's a lot because the thing is the runtime holds it back with the fact that it's so fucking dark and depressing. Like I just like can never
Yeah,
see I will never watch Nickel Boys again in my life, ever in my life again, ever.
yeah. I don't think
I'm
I
just
could.
ne-
I don't think I could watch it for a
Bro,
long time.
I've probably gotten like 4 more press invites to watch. Like they've been screening it over because for
Yeah,
awards, like they're pushing it. I've gotten like 4 more invites in Orlando. I've gotten like screeners like in the mail. I've gotten screeners for digital like online.
yeah.
I'm never pressing play on this fucking movie again. Complimentary, but like I'm never pressing play on this shit again because I can't do it. It's just too much for me, bro.
No, it's definitely a
Um,
heavy experience. Like I don't think I could watch it for a long time. Like
yeah,
even
no.
showing it to somebody is like I just like
I
I
could
don't know.
never be like, let's sit down and watch Nickel Boys because I'd
Yeah,
feel
it's tough
bad.
though.
It's so like I would never want to put that. You know what I mean? Like that has to be someone's choice to watch this shit. Not in a bad way, but like it's like
Yeah,
most people aren't ready to sit down for a movie and watch this. In my opinion, I don't know. It's just
no,
there's a
definitely.
lot going on. But I guess wrapping it up, Brantley. What's your star rating looking like?
Dude, I gave this a 4.5 out of 5, man. I
Okay.
thought it was fantastic, bro.
Or
I would say one other small criticism I had, I would say, like,
uh
I think sometimes, like you mentioned, like, with their performances, like, the two main guys, I think sometimes it did feel a little, like, with the perspective, maybe it's just that perspective was thrown into it. Felt a little like video gamey, kind of like wooden at some
Yeah.
points. Like they were
Like
kind of just
the arms behind the camera.
yeah, it
Like
was
they're like reaching out. It just felt weird, yeah.
so
I
sometimes they
think it's
did feel
because
a
we're
little
just not
awkward,
used to seeing
but
stuff like that though.
yeah, I think that probably was it. But it was like at the beginning, I'm like some of this dialogue was a little like weird, but
Yeah.
aside from that, I loved everything else. But,
My
yeah.
my favorite shot of the whole movie though, and it's what they used it in all of the marketing, is when they're looking up at like the reflective thing,
Dude,
and they're like
that was
walking under
fire.
it. It just like says, I don't know, it feels like so like thematically heavy just as a shot, because it's our one person's point of view, but you see both of them, you see them in the reflection, and like it's better in motion. Like it's the still that they've been using to promote the shit out of
Yeah.
the movie, but like seeing them walking and like no
Dude,
camera, it's just like it's so
sick.
good.
I think enjoying the ways movie use like reflections is so dope. Especially even the
Oh,
first
100%.
early in the movie, the frame when he's like looking into like the store shop and it's like the Martin Luther King speech. You
Oh
see
yeah,
his
yeah, yeah,
reflection.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought that
because that's
was
the first time we
so
see him,
fire.
right?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah,
bro, like I thought that was
it's
so well
brilliant.
done. And like you have like this little moments. It doesn't even feel like you're watching it in first person because the way this movie used like the reflections sometimes is like you're actually seeing them for like a good amount, like more than you
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
would think. Throughout the movie,
Yeah, I think it's that's what I'm saying is, in like even like when we put the creative swing of the first person aside, even the choices that they use within the first person, like the barn sequence where they're switching first person points of views.
dude,
Like
yes.
that's like you'd think like, oh, the whole movie's in first person, we're doing no switches, no anything, but perspective switches in first person. That is an insane move. Like I would never think of
No,
that, and
for
it
real.
works completely though.
It does.
I don't know. So okay. Granted, I have not seen the movie since like early November, but I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. I did set out a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, but 8.5 out of 10. Brilliantly, I was gonna ask you though, are you putting this in 2024 or 2025? Because it's a weird dilemma. It's a weird
It
dilemma.
is. It
I
is.
I know.
Loki for the agenda, I want to put it at number
Put
one
it
right
in.
now for 2025. Just for the agenda.
It's
I
Nickel
might,
Boys
yeah.
and Wolfman, by the way.
Yeah,
That's the
literally,
list.
bro.
Oh my god. I don't know. I'm glad that there's a movie with this much like creative flow making its way into Oscars. To me, now, I think right now it's front runner for best cinematography, but honestly, just because of the next thing we're gonna talk about, which is The Brutalist. So, Brantley hasn't seen The Brutalist yet, but there's a insane. The Brutalist used AI, guys. It is so like, and it's crazy because the ways that they used it feels so anti-Oscars to me. Yet, it is like the front run. It is literally like this year's Oppenheimer.
Okay, that's what I
So,
think. I think you got to fill me in on like how they
yeah,
like
I got you. I
used
got
it.
you.
Because like I didn't
So,
see the movie, and so I don't really. I can't like correct the visual
of
like
course,
how
yeah,
they
yeah,
used
yeah.
it. Okay.
So I'm going to start off with my quick review of it. I won't spend too much time on it. I have a full YouTube video on it, so you can check that out if you want my in detail thoughts. And then we'll get to the AI conversation, and then we'll wrap it up here. But for The Brutalist, for me, I genuinely think, and this is with me knowing that there is AI in the film to an extent, right? Because when I saw it, I didn't know that they had used AI. Like I had seen it way too early for them to like. The editor just came out 2 days ago about this, right? So I really like this movie. Like it is a 9.5 to 5 out of 5. You know, like it is brilliant stuff. It is a story that, like Nickel Boys, in my opinion, takes so many creative swings. And not only like, okay, it's not taking a swing as in first person, but it is taking a swing as in criticizing the American dream from the point of view that we have never ever seen before. We see criticizing the American dream from the point of view of war heroes. We see it from the average American person. An immigrant story, in my opinion, has never been told in its full length, right? We never get like from literally like the Brutalist starts with Laszlo coming off of the boat to America. You know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
ending is it ends with obviously like characters and like again, it's very Oppenheimer-esque, right? You see this guy's whole fucking life.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and I've brought up this Oppenheimer comparison a million times, and people hate that I do this, but I don't give a shit because it is genuinely just a more personal version of Oppenheimer, right? Oppenheimer is so focused on like the governmental aspect of it, all this kind of stuff. The Brutalist has elements of that, but most of it is focused on Laszlo's character and him as a guy, a human being. And
Yeah.
a story of like this magnitude, like a 4 hour film where I would say 80% of the shots, if not wide shots on Brutalist architecture, like the building style that the movie
Yeah.
is based on, is literally handheld shots like within like 10 feet, 15 feet of our main character. Like it is not establishing something grand in most of the sequences.
Yeah.
It is establishing a personal connection, and that's something that's just like. By the way, this is one technical element. Like the score is fucking insane. It's shot on what, like full frame 35? No, full frame 70 actually.
This division too.
Yeah, it is crazy work.
Yeah.
The performances, now that I've heard this AI thing, which we'll get into in just a second here, the performances are still great. But I don't know if I can put Adrian Brody in my Oscar
So is performance
shortlist
like
anymore.
related? I thought it was like visual
Yeah.
related. Oh, because I read something about it being some like the architecture or something like
It
that.
is. So okay, I guess
But
like I said, I'm giving The Brutalist a 4.5 out of 5. Amazing film,
that
absolutely
was
love it.
interesting. I didn't know it related to the performances.
So there's two things. I have the article pulled up here. I don't want to like go word for word, bar for bar, but it is. I feel like I have a pretty controversial take on AI, right? I feel like and I feel like as students, as like this is our generation. You know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
like. I think there's a very big perspective shift between people that are our age, like we're 20, versus people that are 30, versus people that are 40, 50, 60, right? The David Janesco, the editor for The Brutalist, says it is controversial in the industry to talk about AI, but it shouldn't be. I think it's a little different when you're a filmmaker. You know what I mean? Like I think like when we say it,
Yeah.
I think it's a little different than when like someone who's making a $1 million movie is saying it. But there's two ways that they used AI in this film. The first one, and in the least controversial way, according to like the general public, I think this is the worst thing personally, but they basically used AI to make mock-ups of the brutalist architecture that they were using in the film. Like the buildings that were like in the movie, the like whether it was CGI or practically built, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it was all practically built. They used AI designs because the movie is based on brutalist architecture.
Yeah.
Like this style, and it is so
Yeah.
easy to go into ChatGPT or DALL-E and be like, make me a sketch of brutalist architecture. You know what I mean? Like make me
That's crazy, man. Like it's already like, I mean, it's a real thing that exists. And I know that
That's what I'm
cinematographer came out and
saying,
said,
like-
him and the director like literally like looked at Brutus architecture, but maybe that was AI. But I'm like, that's what bro said. I'm like, that's crazy.
No, so that's what's frustrating to me is like I actually don't mind it to an extent. Like I can admit, dude, for like my own professors nowadays are like, hey, like you need to make a marketing pitch for Red Bull, for example. Use ChatGPT, get yourself an outline, and then work from there. Don't use it the whole time. And I
Yeah.
guess on a perspective level, this is kind of the same thing, but there's a difference in emphasis. Because when you're doing it for literally what the movie is titled about, that's a little crazy. You know what I mean? Like the film thematically,
Yeah.
visually, on every level revolves around brutalist architecture. Which I will say, I guess brutalist architecture is the most manufactured version of architecture. You know what I mean? Like it is very like blocky. It's very
Yeah.
very simple and not symmetric, but very like isometric. You know what I mean? Like it is giving you like clean edges, I guess. So it's just odd. You know what I mean? Like it is a choice. I personally, and everyone on Twitter obviously disagrees with me. I'm interested to hear your opinion. I think this specific use case isn't like the worst thing in the world because it is aiding filmmaking. Now, the second when Netflix was using fucking Christopher Nolan's AI voice for a documentary, that's
Yeah,
crazy. Like,
that's
that's a
insane.
different level. These are not the same thing at all. There's a problem with consent in the Netflix situation.
Exactly.
There's a problem with just like overall like being humane about the use of technology and duplicating real life people and stuff like that. This isn't that serious, but this is more of like a flaw that I have of just like it's such an essential thing in the movie. You could have just done it without AI. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't a need for this one.
Exactly. No, I fully agree. I think the AI thing, cause like even myself, I've been looking more into it. Cause at first I was like a very strong like anti AI person, but like
Mhm.
I mean now I'm starting to see like how like it's a bit more nuanced, and I think it's like oh like it's just AI or no AI. I think it is a bit more
Yeah.
nuanced than like just breaking down like that black and white. I think there's a bit more there, especially because someone brought up a good point. I guess in relation to like the brutalist thing, because I knew some things about it, but not fully. I saw a tweet. It was like a lot of these I don't think it was about exactly like the brutalist architecture aspect of it, but I guess a lot of like there's a lot of old technology that people have been using for a long time that's now just
Mhm.
being labeled AI because of how it's like evolved. But people have been using stuff
It's
for
the
years. I mean, way
yeah,
before like
it's
you know.
all of the de-aging is all deep fake AI. Like it's all AI because it's
Yeah,
anything machine learning based is AI. But again, it's a tool, right? When you use the tool correctly with consent of the people, it is okay. Like when Harrison Ford signed his deal of like, hey, you can de-age me in Dial of Destiny, that's fine.
yeah,
And then the second, by the way, this is all one thing. There's a second thing that they used it for, and
yeah.
this
So
is
what's
really fucking
what's
bad.
the second example?
They I'm trying to find the exact quote actually. Okay. The decision to use AI was born out of the need to supplement a small part of Adrian Brody and Felicity Jones's Hungarian speaking skills. I'm a native Hungarian speaker and I know that is one of the most difficult languages to learn to pronounce, he said, the director, I mean the editor. The moment in question is roughly a 2 minute segment of the movie in which a letter from Brody's character to his wife is written out loud. The letter is read in full Hungarian, and it is understood by the rap that no other part of the actor's performance was augmented with re-speecher. If you're coming from an Anglo-Saxon world, certain sounds can be particularly hard to grasp. We first tried to ADR these harder elements with the
Okay,
actors. Then we tried to ADR them completely with other actors, like Hungarian actors, but it
okay.
didn't work. So we looked for other options on how to enhance it. That scene is kind of important. Like that's what is pissing
Mm.
me off. Is like it is. If I'm not mistaken, there's a couple letters that they read throughout the film, but obviously they're talking about just one sequence. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm thinking about the right moment, this is like the peaking moment before the intermission.
Oh damn! So it's like yeah, it's
I
crucial.
don't know. Yeah, this is a. I don't know. His performance is amazing though. Like overall, it's fucking insane.
Yeah,
But like, come on,
I
bro.
mean, I think like yeah, I think this is where like I think this example is a bit like murkier. I think it's a bit like I guess I see why people criticize this more because I feel like it kind of is taking slightly a bit away from the art of acting. I think maybe this is
Acting,
also
yeah.
where AI can become a detriment. I think a part of just making art and creating art is like at the end of the day, not everything's gonna be perfect, right? I think you should do the best of what you're given, with what you can do within your natural abilities. I feel like with AI, like if you try to start to like refine these things and like make this perfect as possible, I feel like it does kind of take away from like what you're making to some degree, a little
I
bit.
com- I actually think it takes away from a lot because the thing, and
Yeah.
I completely agree with you because I think the thing is the reason why you pick the youngest Oscar winner in the history of time is because you want to see his performance. He
Yeah.
is playing a Hungarian character. I want to hear his character's version. And you know what the editor is going to say to everyone who's bitching and complaining about this? You couldn't even tell. You know what I mean? Like I get the argument. I get the argument.
Yeah.
You masked it up though. That's the thing. Is like, and it takes a man to admit this. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if the director's probably pissed at bro, like for saying all this, but it's just like frustrating that, like now I know that it is not like the full performance, and that inherently takes me out of the film a little bit. I think.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's just the idea of just like I think even as a director, if I'm like making something, it's like I don't like I want this like to be like fully like authentic as best as possible. I don't
Hmm.
like even if it's not perfect, even if they go back and watch it and like you're Hungarian, it sounds a little shitty. Like and then you just gotta like roll with it or ADR. I mean ADR's been a thing like that's cool. Like just do something like that. But I mean to kind of resort to these other just kind of I guess more extreme links to like make this perfect sounding accent or whatever. I think
Hmm.
it's a bit much. Like, and then it's just like it is what it is. I don't think there was any need to kind of incorporate AI in that aspect. If it sounded not the best or It's just is what it is. I mean, that's why we have dialect coaches. Like people could locked in with bro.
That's what I'm
Make
saying,
sure he
bro.
sounded good.
Like,
I
oh,
don't
they were
know.
probably like, oh, guys, it's only like one letter that you have to read. Like, don't even worry about it for real. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. So
It's interesting. I wonder if the actors know about this
yeah, I do wonder that too. I'm not gonna lie. I
because
wonder
it
like
seems like a
if
thing
just Adrian
completely
Brody
replaced in
know.
post. Can wrap it up with is there are you still checking out the Brutalist, brand?
I
You
mean,
should still
that's
check.
for sure.
I still think
I'm
you gotta
still trying
watch
to
it.
see it, man. Like for sure. I think the biggest enemy, like in terms of AI technology, I think the biggest the biggest op is anything that's like generative, like just AI,
Mhm.
generative AI. That's the biggest enemy. I feel like everything else is kind of use it at your own discretion. Use it like still use it, sparingly, but like I think there's definitely I guess, ethical ways of going about it. I think
Yeah.
anything that's just like I'm generating this thing just out of thin air with AI
Mhm.
and putting it in. I think that's like by far like the worst thing to like use like anything. So I feel
Low
like
key,
that's
exactly
for
what
me.
Afraid did, but type shit.
Yeah,
Fuck Afraid, bro.
like.
That's the moral of the story is
But I
fuck.
would say no. I would say afraid. I'm like that's the only like I do. I would
The
defend
opening sequence was
afraid
kind of tough as fuck.
because I will say afraid they kind of cooked with the opening sequence. Like
Uh
their use of
huh.
AI in afraid made sense for the concept, and I think like it
Yes.
did
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
like yeah this shit looks fucked up and it's AI. Like I think AI that's like only good thing afraid did was like kind of be a little bit of, like a social commentary. Like this is like how AI is like
Yeah.
bad. Like it like this looks like ass. Like it looks
Yeah.
uncanny. It looks disturbing. Like it looks scary because it's not real.
Yeah.
Like it's
It's
not
not real.
authentic.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only time they actually kind of cooked. Like is Afraid the best AI movie of all time? I think as of now it is, bro.
Afraid better than the Brutalist? What? What?
The best use of AI
Uh,
on film is Afraid, bro.
all right, we're we gotta we're starting to compliment Afraid. We gotta wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you made it to the end, drop a comment. What your favorite story of the week was. Let us know what you thought about the movies that we discussed, and come back next week for more movie reviews, news, content, etc., etc. Thank you guys so much for listening to Beyond the Frame this week, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.